So maybe I should change some light. But we're going to work on the pattern making, especially for Patreon members. So please have a look. Meanwhile, I'll see if I can change something with the lighting, because I think you won't be able to see me well. So I'll just move some things around, and in a minute or so we're gonna start working on the Vegeta pattern in Illustrator. Alright. Perfect, this is better. So again, welcome during this live feed. Let's start working on the Vegeta pattern. So before we start on this actual pattern, let me quickly check on YouTube how the live feed is going. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Because of course this is something I need to share with you on Patreon. So I'm gonna create the link. We're live. Please check it out on my YouTube. Okay. So we're going live. We are live. Again, still new to me, but I think it's a great asset for Patreon to create Patreon exclusive content in a way in which I can, well, share my workspace with you, share my process with you without I don't know, montaging like weeks and weeks on a video, and then by that time when I've put so much work in it, then I'm already thinking it's outdated or you know, stuff like that. So this is a very direct way to communicate with you. I think as direct as possible. I hope with this Mevo system I can give you an experience as if you are with me here in the room, maybe hovering above me or sitting next to me, looking over my shoulder, or taking a back seat and have a look at the total of things. So for me it's a bit early. For you it might be a bit late. We're in different time zones. So if you think, oh, he's sounding a little bit as if he's having a cold, I think it's just because it's so early for me. Alright, I've shared on Patreon we are live. So I think we can just move forward and start working on the Vegeta pattern. This is, by the way, my corner in which I design. Normally I have a different chair here, but this one will do for now. And yeah, it's a very, very little corner of my workspace which I closed off from all the noises from working with glass or people, I don't know, walking in. So this is I don't know, my man cave or something. So, alright, let's get started. I'm really excited for you to be here, and I hope, I don't know how, but I hope I can see some of, I don't know, see some of your input. Or so, just to be sure, I'll turn it on YouTube as well, because over here I'm running it with the Mevo system, and I can see we're live, I can see we're recording, I can see which camera is on, but I can't see anyone attending or making remarks or asking questions. So I hope by checking in on YouTube, yeah, there we go, there is a chat. So hey, Welcome to the live stream. Please enjoy and ask any question you want to ask. Okay, I think in time we will get the hang of this. I think this will be something very worthwhile. All right, let me put this one over here because then this is crazy, right? Like I'm turning on 3 computers in order to do this. Okay, let's zoom in for a bit. This is the Vegeta pattern I've been mapping out on my iPad, and obviously now the iPad is the dashboard for shooting these videos. I can't draw from my iPad, which is a bit silly, and I should have thought it through, but I didn't. So, okay, this is what we're gonna work with. Swapping the screens right now. I really hope that from this angle you can see it clearly, else I'll just have to switch the camera for a bit. What I usually do, I just create an A4 image on Illustrator, in which I will import my design. There we go. And because Illustrator is vector based, I'm not really concerned with size or whatsoever. I just want to work as convenient as possible. So I'm adding a layer and I'm locking the Vegeta layer. Although I should maybe turn down the opacity for a bit. Alright. And then we can start working from it. Yeah, so I just noticed that with over the shoulder you are having an angle to the screen, so I'm just gonna adjust the camera a little bit. I hope I have enough space then to work with my mouse. But I think if I can get the camera a little bit more up front, then you would be able to see it better. So and then of course I would need to see it as well. That's kind of important as well. So how about this? I think this might be better. Checking again. So what do you think? I think it's better. I really hope it is. So, because we've locked a layer, we can't access the rough sketch underneath. Normally I sketch this out further in Procreate, but as I mentioned, I can't draw on Procreate right now because the iPad is kind of my dashboard for moving the cameras around. So let's for now continue in this direction. There we go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so before we start working, maybe we should save the file first. For now, I'll just put it on the desktop and call it Vegeta. And then later on, I'll list it in the right folder. Okay, so here is why I work in Illustrator to create patterns. If I want to have a circle, then and I hold Shift. Can I show it here? I can show it out here. Yeah. Okay, let me do that again. So if you want to draw a circle, then as you can see, the shape isn't circular necessarily, but when you hold down Shift, you know it is actually as high and as wide, so it's a perfect circle. And I can resize it, again holding Shift, and this also with Option this time. And using this in my digital pattern making, I'm always certain that if I mapped out a circle, it's actually really circular. Oh, I just did something there. When I've made this circle and I don't want it to be anywhere, then I can just add some paths to it and then get rid of the part I don't need. So this is a very, very convenient tool, which I'll use here as well. Alright, and just with creating paths, I'm mapping out a design. And if you press and hold your mouse, the button of the mouse, the left one, you can actually also adjust the path by giving it some curve, which is just perfect for pattern making. And it's always a challenge, of course, to get as close as possible to the drawing that's underneath. It's not always possible, and sometimes it's easier to or quicker to just add some points, some paths, and then adjust it later on. Because if you press V, you have a mouse, you can change things around. But with A, then you have another pointer, which allows you to adjust anything you just created. Also by tapping the keyboard, so you can see when I'm working, I'm tapping the keyboard a lot. I learned some of the codes out of my head. I learned them to use them like this, because else I'll be constantly searching here or selecting different tools over there. But it's a bit quicker just to tap on the keyboard one key, and then you have exactly what you need. So. And this is also something which I'm really fond of. If I'm doing something which I don't like so much, I just tap Command C, and then it takes me back a step. So in order to, well, in order to check if something works, I can just do it and then undo it in a heartbeat. Hey, I just saw a comment. Sunbay Gaming. It's Adobe Illustrator. So it's from this series. It's from the Adobe Cloud series, which I'm currently using, and we're using Illustrator to. Oh, there's an update available. We're using Illustrator to work in this. Sorry, I just saw your remark, your question. And again, so because it's vector based, you can just size it or resize it at your convenience. So for now we're just creating paths, kind of mapping out the entire pattern. Let me zoom out a little so you can see the total. Just finishing his wonderful Super Saiyan hair. I was thinking actually, this is why I usually progress a bit more in Procreate, because now it doesn't have its color yet. And I was thinking to do the Super Saiyan blue variant for Vegeta this time, like the the amazing bright blue. Let me look it up here. If it works, please, 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 please. Yes. Oh, now we're signing in things. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Alright, this is what I'm talking about. This is so cool. Right? Alright. So, I could have looked this up before. But just this very, I don't know, it's like almost like a Mediterranean blue. It's wonderful. And then with the steel blue here, with the white suit. So I was thinking to use this version. Okay, back to Illustrator. So as you can see, this is also quite convenient when you map out a drawing with a lighter color, so blue or orange. When you then work with the black lines, then you can see better what you're doing. Which I don't always do, but I used to do this when I was drawing a lot before iPads and Procreate existed. Then I would draw with a colored pencil, blue one or an orange one, searching for the right lines, and then use a graphite gray, darkish, almost black pencil to give it the final and actual lines. I'll show you in the next video how prepare some examples of how you can also use this as a drawing tool, let's say in real life and not only in digital files. Yeah, because drawing is what I like to do best, and how everything started for me at a young age, and then apparently it showed some creative potential, so that got me all the way to art school, and then 10 years later towards stained glass and stained glass geek. Alright. This is also what I like about working digitally. I always will have a soft spot for working with actual paper and pencils and paints and stuff like that, but to be able to zoom in and I don't know, like position the lines like perfectly where they need to be, that's just, I mean, that's just wonderful. Okay, so here I'm not sure. I combined those lines. I don't know if I really like it, so for now I'll just work around it, and then we can get back to it and see what we're actually going to do about it. As the markings in the face, we really need to add some cutting lines there, because we just can't make it like that. Like this bit is that's not possible, or if it is, it's gonna break. So in time, so that's something we get back to as well. For now, I want to focus first on getting his hair right. Oh, sorry. Yep, there you go. And then we can check also where we need to add some cutting lines to make them possible. Also, why it's wonderful this Vegeta will have blue hair is we don't have to struggle with black opaque glass. So I've made a Vegeta before. There we go. Which I think turned out really nice. Oh, okay, well, let's. Okay, thank you Pinterest for not being able to access my own photo. Okay, same goes for Facebook, which suddenly is, I don't know, in Chinese. So it was 2017, Facebook just told me. This was a very large piece, and I brought it here so we can check some decisions I've made in the cutting lines in the face. So this is why of course I wanted to show you, but also I think it might have its use. So here we go. Back to his hair, and then we can zoom in on where to add cutting lines to his face. Hey Liz, please make a speech bubble. Oh, I like that. That's a great idea. Thank you for such suggestions. Thanks. Yes. Liz just writes the glass overlay of the eye looks so great. This is why I wanted to do a portrait of Vegeta, because I can't show it to you right now. I don't have the piece here with me. I sold it, but actually the pupil here and this part of his eyebrow are not black. So because of the visor, I made it very, very dark red. So in real life, it's even cooler. And that being said, the visors from Dragon Ball Z are just the coolest. So, which is why my first Dragon Ball piece needed to be Vegeta and needed to have that visor. I'm really glad you're here. I'm really glad you're also posting some questions or remarks. I consider them to be talking points. So that actually makes hosting also a bit easier, because I can talk about things you want to talk about. Does that make sense? It's a bit fake maybe, but so one thing I really want to do in this design is I want to somehow in some parts show it's a symmetrical design. It's not really the case. You can see in his legs, you can see in his legs it's not really the case that it's symmetrical, but we can always suggest it is by placing the circle right in the middle, mirroring maybe the background, and also here in the suit we can add some lines which suggest that he is completely dead centered from us, right? So that's something I really like to do. Also in his face, and it gives some, it really gives some nice design options. Over here I see I didn't cut this line, I went all the way over here, which we can use as a suggestion as well. Let's make sure we add the lines here for his temple. And I think I'm not going with the previous idea of connecting to. I'm not sure. I don't really see a better solution now. So let's run with it. Also, over here the lines are nice and curvy, and here they're quite straight. So that's also something I want to mirror a bit better. So I'm a bit struggling here, but I'm hoping we can. Yeah, I think this looks a bit more alike as the other side. Now over here. I really hope this is visible enough for you, like how the camera is positioned, and so if not, please tell me. So I think it is, from what I can see on the dashboard, but it's the first time we are using this setup, so feel free to tell me if it can be positioned differently, better. Okay, so back to his eyebrows. Over here, I think it's just a straight line. I just want to check for sure here. It might have a curve. It might be nicer to go like this. Yeah, perfect. And then of course we have the kind of the muscle above the eyebrow, right? So in Dragon Ball they always have these marks, which is perfect to use to create a full shape from. So that's something we can actually consider. Right now, because of the size we're working in, I'm thinking all the lines are a bit much, so I'm making them a little bit smaller. Yeah, let's go with 0.5. And this actually shows us we can maybe work even a bit more precise. But especially for his facial features, we really need to be able to work on this level of precision. And I'm really, when it comes down to pattern making, I'm really serious about it. So I'm really, I don't know how to phrase this. In Dutch you would say I'm really a trut about it. Which kind of is I'm maybe a bit stupid serious about it. So I'm any detail that's not right to my eye is something I cannot like leave. So I'm very invested in it, I think. And that's why I really like when people are making use of my patterns, because they are made with a lot of fun and love and focus and everything, and hopefully also knowledge about how stained glass works and how the patterns might work. So yeah, that's for now. Let's go with this, and then we can always reconsider. Okay, so this is something difficult about Dragon Ball and the drawing style. We somehow have to translate all these spots which are not connected to one another towards stained glass. So that's gonna be a struggle. Oh, sorry. More feedback. The camera facing right at the screen is great. Thank you. That's good to hear. Then let's continue with this angle. Thank you, Liz, for the compliment. Yeah, so exactly, it's just a pen tool, which I like to use so much. Okay, so over here we can actually use the circle shape again, and then add some points, and then get rid of the excess, and then we have a wonderful oval shaped eye, which I could not have drawn by hand with a pen tool. Alright, then we might suggest there is a little bit of shadow below his frown. Is it a frown? Like he's like, yeah, it's a frown. So that's something we might use, and I'm just checking out to see whether or not we should add this line to to the front of his head, because it does kind of cuts his face in two. So again, not sure if that's a good option. And then we have here these, well, cheeks. Let me check how we did it in the yeah, last piece. We also used those, and actually we added a shape here. I don't know. I don't know why I did that. And over here we can maybe have some fun with those markings next to his eyebrow, just by so if I were to make it, I would suggest make this as one piece, and then in the end give it 2 extra cuts, so you have those lines, which are very nice, and they are a reference to what's happening here. Might be a nice way to add that to it. The same goes for here. It's just one of those details, and it will save you time not to do it, which is an option, a fair option too, of course. But if there's time and the size of the piece allows you to add the details such as this, that's going to be so awesome. Alright. Here we will get into trouble. Let me, yeah, that's better. This is something we can actually make. And then add a little bit of shadow from his cheek. And this is also something nice about working in Illustrator in layers. You can just check it, like, are we happy with what we're seeing here? I think we are. I think this is going to be something very nice. I really like the little details. So don't overdo it though. Sorry, laughing at my own joke. Let's continue with his nose. Also struggling. I really want to see how I solved it last time. Alright, so 2 squares. Yeah, that's really Dragon Ball Z. Here we go. And then we add some extra to this path. And we can actually, oh, don't change anything at all, sorry. Better. Okay, here you can see something happening, and if you're working with Illustrator, this is not really strange. It is strange, but it is, as you can see with the red lines, they are exactly on the same point, yet one of these lines is giving a strange corner, and with the properties of the stroke, I'll just have to find the right window. Yeah, there we go, stroke. You can actually, let me put it in here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Adjust these corners. So now they are rounded. You can make them really square as well, or sharper. I always go with rounded because it doesn't allow this problem we just had here to happen. So this is what I like best. Okay, I think we have a nose right now. And then he also has a